Tú quieres terminar esta
Sí,
relación.
sí, me voy ahí, no me voy a quedar aquí. Te aguanté demasiada vaina. Y punto.
Is this a Christmas miracle? Are Daniele and Yohan finally ending things? Well, it certainly appears as though this relationship has reached the point of no return. Yohan feels like he's been sold a lie, and now he's checked out.
I've given you everything I have. How can you do that? I can't even process what's happening right now.
This feels different from the normal Daniele and Yohan fights. This feels like Yohan has reached his limit. It feels like it's over. But before we dive into all of this, let's just rewind to the beginning. So the last we saw Yohan and Daniele, Daniele accused Yohan of theft. She was screaming at him to get out of their apartment. Only when we join them in this episode, it seems like, for now at least, the pair have solved their issues. Or so Daniele thought.
It's been about a month since Yohan and I had a huge fight because he stole money out of my account. At the time, I really felt like the relationship was probably over, but we both took some time to calm down and have a conversation.
Now, I don't know if the fact that it's holiday season has played a role in these two coming back together. Perhaps Daniele didn't want to spend Christmas alone, but she should have trusted her gut, because I'm not really sure how you can come back from the realisation that your husband only wants you for your money.
Yohan explained to me that because we were married, he felt like he could take money out of the bank. When I grilled him about it, he was embarrassed, and so he lied.
Feliz Navidad, Kismo.
Yohan's excuse makes no sense. Like, if he really thought that taking money out of her account was okay, then why didn't he own up to it? Why did he feel embarrassed? You get the sense that whilst Daniele is choosing to accept this excuse, she doesn't really believe it. She's choosing to make Christmas peace rather than to acknowledge Yohan's true intentions.
Yohan had the idea that he would dress up as Santa and give out gifts to kids in his neighborhood. We started a toy drive online where people from the US were able to buy gifts from a wish list.
So Daniele and Yohan are collecting gifts from very generous people in the States, and they're personally paying for those gifts to be shipped to the DR. It's a lovely idea, and it's very in keeping with the holiday spirit, which makes sense given we know how much of a role religion plays in Yohan's life. His Christianity is perhaps something we haven't really seen too much of, but Daniele is keen to stress she loves that side of Yohan.
This was all Yohan's idea. This was the generous, loving Yohan that I fell in love with.
Yeah, okay, Daniele. You're just gonna pretend that it was his big heart that you fell in love with, are you? Yeah, we believe you. Now, unfortunately, Yohan's Santa Claus act, this act of generosity, seems to be more of a PR exercise, more damage control than actually true. You see, the second that Daniele explains that this month she needs Yohan to help with the rent slightly earlier than usual because she's paid for all of the shipping costs for the presents, well, Yohan's tune changes completely.
¿Tú entiendes?
¿Cuál dinero?
Dinero por alquilar, por enero.
Pero yo no tengo dinero.
I'm sorry, Daniele, but this is what happens when you choose to sweep really big issues under the rug. Yohan's told Daniele that he won't be paying another cent whilst he's living under her roof, but she chose to ignore it, and now he's following through with that promise. Yohan's still angry that she promised him a comfortable life, but he doesn't believe he's been given that. He believes she sold him a lie.
Yo calculé todo el dinero que yo he conseguido en la historia de la relación. Yo le he gastado todo en la casa y yo no tengo nada de ese dinero ni...
Not to be funny, but if Yohan can sit down and, with any degree of accuracy, calculate exactly how much he's spent in the 3 years that he's been with Daniele, well, that's a sign that he really hasn't spent all that much. I'm willing to bet that if Daniele were to do the same, those calculations would take a heck of a lot longer. But if there's one thing that we know about Yohan, it's that when it comes to the topic of Daniele's money, he feels very entitled to it. He's got it in his head that she should be paying for everything. He feels like he's paying far too much already, so now he's done.
Entonces, no te doy un peso más para renta. Yo no le había dicho eso a Daniela por la pelea que hemos tenido, pero se lo estoy diciendo ahora para que ella lo sepa.
So let me get this straight. Yohan's avoided bringing up the fact that ever since their fight, he has no intention of paying any more rent. And now, right before Christmas, just as Daniele has shelled out to bring over the gifts that he thought was a good idea, now he's decided it's time to tell her she better find another way to cover that rent. He won't be helping anymore. Why? Because he's tired of paying rent. It's horrible timing, and it's a horrible insight into Yohan's true colours.
Antes de yo conocerte a ti, yo vivía con mis padres, tenía un trabajo, estaba bien. No, tú estás bien pagando alquiler, tú estás bien alquilando carro. Yo no soy feliz así.
Now, the truth is, Yohan's not entirely wrong here. Since being with Daniele, his lifestyle has changed dramatically, and Daniele expects him to be an equal partner for things that he claims he never really even wanted in the first place. Things like their luxury apartment. Yohan claims that he was perfectly happy living in the same home as his 16 family members, a house where the bathrooms don't have running water. But, he says, because of Daniele, now he has to start paying rent to be with his wife. How dare she do this to him? And what makes this even worse is he has the cheek to now act like Daniele hasn't brought any benefits to his life, as if running water isn't a thing.
Tú dijiste, vamos a tener una vida bien. Y dijiste de yo tener papeles, yo no tengo ni una.
What's abundantly clear is that Yohan has never forgiven Daniele for going back on her promise to get him a green card. He resents the fact that she hasn't taken him to America. He brings it up every time they fight. But the reality is, even if he were to go to America, with no English skills, his ability to make money would be drastically reduced anyway. Like, if he's having such a tough time paying rent in the DR, just wait till you see how much rent costs in New York, Yohan. And Daniele just can't stomach this level of ungratefulness.
Honestly, I've given you everything. I've paid for your Zumba classes. I bought you a computer. You don't even say thank you. You expect it.
Thank you, ¿de qué?
I've given you everything, even Zumba classes! Come on, Daniele, read the room. What Yohan's talking about here is much more serious than Zumba. He's talking about the American dream, having his own home, his own car, a white picket fence and 2.4 children. Trying to throw the Zumba classes in his face that you paid for isn't gonna help you win him back round.
Yo hace mucho para ti. Tú no tienes amor. Tú solo quieres una casa y un carro. No quieres una esposa.
Esta relación no va para ninguna parte.
Look, this is precisely the issue with these two. Daniele thought that she could buy the perfect husband. She thought that by flexing her financial muscle, by waving all of these shiny opportunities in front of Yohan's eyes, he'd fall in love with her and be forever grateful. But as far as Yohan's concerned, he wants a wife that can actually provide those bright, shiny opportunities. But after all this time being married, he's now come to the conclusion Daniele was all talk. So where do they go from here?
Tell me what you want. What is
Yo
the
no quiero esa
solution?
vida.
Okay,
Tú
so
puedes ir
what
con
is
tu
the
vida.
solution? ¿Qué
Yo
es
te
la
dije,
solución?
no voy a pagar, no te voy a pagar ningún dinero, porque no.
Unfortunately, it feels like the time for solutions has passed. Yohan's truly done with Daniele. He wants out. He doesn't want to be married to her anymore because he feels like she can't give him what he wants. He's well and truly checked out. And the truth is, you get the feeling this has been a long time coming. He's known for a while now that she's not going to give him what he's after, and that explains why now, for the last few months at least, he's been on this mission to extract all he can from her for one last time before he leaves.
Entonces tú quieres terminar esta relación.
Sí, me voy a ir, no me voy a quedar aquí. Te aguanté demasiada vaina. Y punto.
Yohan sounds so cruel and mean here. It's really difficult to swallow, but at the same time, we can't forget just how terribly Daniele treated him last season. She was the one that was rude, verbally abusive, she was demeaning. I mean, she chose to put her ex before her husband for Pete's sake. So yeah, there's no denying it. Yohan has had to put up with a lot of crap. But he's no angel. He definitely has his flaws too. They both married each other for all the wrong reasons, and now they're both paying the price.
I've given you everything I have.
you do that? I can't even process what's happening right now.
Daniele says that she's given Yohan everything that she has, but I don't know that that's true. Her sacrifices aren't as big as she's trying to paint them to be. Like, how much has her life really changed because Yohan's in it? She wanted to escape America anyway. She was gonna have to rent an apartment anyway. She wanted a dog. She wanted to see her ex. Like, Daniele does what Daniele wants to do. If Daniele wants to spend her days lounging on the beach, then that's exactly what she's gonna do, with or without Yohan. It doesn't really feel like she's made that many sacrifices on Yohan's behalf. Now, has she spent money on Yohan? Yes, undoubtedly. But the fact that he doesn't value that, he doesn't see that as enough, means that now might be a great time for her to cut her losses. She might now have to admit that she's not the rich American wife she pretended to be.
Now I feel like this relationship is over.
I hope it is over, because I genuinely believe that's what's best for them both. Yohan can go and find, hopefully, a rich American who can give him all he's after, and Daniele can eat mangoes on the beach like she dreamed.